The cytoplasmic membrane of a prokaryotic cell is the main gateway for movement of molecules in and out of the cell. This membrane may also be called the cell membrane or plasma membrane. Cytoplasmic membranes in bacteria are comprised of a phospholipid bilayer. Each phospholipid contains a phosphate head located on the outer part of the bilayer, attached to a glycerol and two fatty acid, which face the core of the membrane. The phosphate is negatively charged and hydrophilic, while the tail portion of the phospholipids is hydrophobic. Thus, cytoplasmic membranes are very effective at blocking passage of many molecules, while other molecules are allowed to pass. Cytoplasmic membranes also contain two types of proteins. Integral proteins often span the entire bilayer and act as channels for transport of molecules that normally wouldn't be able to penetrate the bilayer. Peripheral proteins are loosely attached to the membrane on one side or the other. Some of these may be glycoproteins, which are proteins bound to a polysaccharide. These proteins may function as recognition sites, enzymes, or receptors.
The cell membrane, the dynamic barrier that separates the cell from its surroundings. If you're as curious as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any of our captivating biology content. Let's kick things off with a brief introduction. The cell membrane, also known as the plasma membrane, is like the gatekeeper of the cell. It's a phospholipid bilayer that encases the cell, controlling what enters and exits. But there's so much more to discover. Now, let's delve into the cell membrane's structure. Imagine a sea of lipids, with proteins and carbohydrates floating within. The lipid bilayer comprises two layers of phospholipids, each with a hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tails. Proteins are embedded in this lipid sea, some spanning the entire membrane while others rest on the surface. Carbohydrates decorate the outer surface, forming the glycocalyx. One of the membrane's key functions is selective permeability. This means it allows certain molecules to pass through while keeping others out. Small nonpolar molecules, like oxygen and carbon dioxide, can slip through the lipid bilayer. But larger molecules, ions, and polar molecules need help from specialized transport proteins. Let's dive into the various ways molecules move across the membrane. Active transport uses energy to move molecules against their concentration gradient, while passive transport relies on the gradient and doesn't require energy. Diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis, these processes keep the cell in balance with its environment. The cell membrane is like a communication hub. Receptor proteins on the surface recognize specific molecules, like hormones, and trigger cellular responses. This is how cells communicate with each other and their environment, ensuring proper coordination. Did you know the cell membrane also plays a role in cell adhesion and forming tissues? Proteins like integrins help cells stick together and interact with the extracellular matrix, providing structural support and influencing cell behavior. When substances are too big to pass through the membrane, cells have ingenious methods. Endocytosis engulfs particles by forming vesicles, while exocytosis releases materials outside the cell. These processes are essential for nutrient intake, waste removal, and cell communication. And there you have it, the cell membrane, an intricate player in the cellular symphony. From controlling what enters and exits the cell to facilitating communicating structure, this lipid and protein mosaic is truly fascinating. Thank you for joining us on this captivating exploration of the cell membrane's structure and functions. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with fellow science enthusiasts. Drop your questions or suggestions in the comments below. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.